Brendon McCullum and Ben Stokes bring jolt of excitement to England's new Test era. England fans have had to endure a harrowing year of Test cricket, but the appointments of Ben Stokes as captain and Brendon McCullum as coach pave way for excitement. Watch England vs New Zealand live on Sky Sports Cricket and main event from 10 a.m. on Thursday. When England played New Zealand at Lord's last summer, caution took over. Set 273 from 75 overs to win on the final day following Black Caps captain Kane Williamson's bold declaration. England were nowhere near as bold, showing no appetite whatsoever for a run chase. Sponsored link. Want a free 4-night trip to the Grand Canyon? Enter the Explore. Explore better. Recommended by then skipper Joe Root and then coach Chris Silverwood. Perhaps felt a lineup routinely shredded in India at the back end of the previous winter, and now shorn of Ben Stokes due to injury, had no chance of victory. Perhaps they were concerned of the consequences should things go wrong. If a similar opportunity presents itself this year, the attitude should be markedly different. For this is the Stokes and Brendon McCullum era. Backward steps are unlikely be tolerated. They have never been part of Stokes and McCullum's make-ups. Yosh Buttler, Moeen Ali, Adil Rashid, Liam Livingstone part of Test revamp? Live cricket on Sky Sports. Get Sky Sports. In his unveiling as England's new captain, Stokes spoke about his desire for his team to comprise of selfless cricketers who make decisions based on winning. McCullum, meanwhile, said he wanted to eliminate what he viewed as an English fear of failure when he was presented to the media for the first time since being named Test coach. McCullum and Stokes' appointments come after a dejecting period for English Test cricket. 11 defeats and just 1 win, 17 Test matches, with batting collapses. Stokes' predecessor Root must have become increasingly deflated as rest and rotation often deprived him of his best team, all while he had the pressures of propping up a batting lineup single-handedly. McCullum's predecessor Silverwood, meanwhile, seemed far from inspirational. But with 2 of the game's great galvanizers now in charge, Stokes on the field and McCullum facilitating behind the scenes, there has been a much-needed jolt of excitement. England fans become accustomed to a feeling of dread and resignation heading into Test matches of late. They have watched games unfold from behind their fingers. With McCullum and Stokes at the helm, they should be watching with their eyes wide open, not wanting to miss a minute. McCullum said, "Ben plays the game with the right spirit and for the right reasons. His style of play very much aligns to mine. I am sure it is going to be very watchable." Watchable, yes, but that does not mean wild. McCullum and Stokes are attacking cricketers but thinking ones too. McCullum, talking to Sky Sports' Michael Atherton, said he enjoys his persona of a reckless gambler and even self-deprecatingly called himself a T20 cavalier, but he added, "I knew what I was doing in the game. I put in a lot of work." The 40-year-old is the owner of the fastest 100 in Test cricket, a 54-ball effort against Australia in his final game for New Zealand in 2016, but managed 12 centuries all told in his Test career, including 3 double centuries and a triple. Yep, he knew what he was doing in the game. We also saw how cerebrally Stokes plotted his way through his 2 most memorable innings for England thus far, his 84 not out in the 2019 World Cup final against New Zealand at Lord's and unbeaten 135 in the Headingley Ashes Test against Australia later that summer. Stokes' World Cup final knock helped England cap a startling white ball turnaround as they went from a disastrous first-round exit in 2015 to 50 over champions 4 years later. But McCullum played an instrumental role in its initial development, with England limited overs captain Owen Morgan saying their new, attacking direction had been inspired in large part by the way McCullum's New Zealand had played during their run to the 2015 final. That included an 8-wicket demolition of England in Wellington as McCullum crunched 77 off just 25 balls to take the Black Caps past England's paltry 123 all-out, with a whopping 226 balls to spare. The run chase done in just 12.2 overs. England obliterated. 4 months later, England's new white ball era began with them topping 400 in a one-day international against McCullum's New Zealand. If McCullum's England could begin their new red ball era by topping 400 in a test match, it would be a tremendous start, such has been the rarity of that. During a period of alarming batting brittleness. That is possibly the main reason why the excitement surrounding Stokes and McCullum should be tempered with a healthy dose of realism. Instant results would be nice but perhaps should not be expected. To start with, England are facing the reigning World Test champions. New Zealand are an excellent side, even if they did not quite look that way when reduced to 19-6 inches a tour match last weekend that they went on to lose. England's bowling attack has also been ravaged by injury and illness. While their two best in that department, James Anderson and Stuart Broad, are back. After being jettisoned for the West Indies tour in March, their three briskest, Mark Wood, Jofra Archer and Ollie Stone, remain sidelined. McCullum, too, has readily accepted his appointment as test coach as a risk considering his only previous coaching experience has come in white ball cricket, in the Caribbean Premier League with Trinbago Knight Riders and Indian Premier League with Kolkata Knight Riders. He also says the role is a risk for him as he gives up a varied life to focus solely on taking England out of the red ball doldrums. It is a risk, but you have to take risks in life, and I thought it was worth a crack. Risk over caution. It's an attitude England fans can get behind. Let the McCullum and Stokes era begin. Watch England take on New Zealand in the first test, from Lord's, live on Sky Sports Cricket and Sky Sports main event from 10 a.m. on Thursday.